Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for June 2022. You have the Knight of Pentacles want to pop out. Interesting. I always sit here and shuffle for a couple minutes before I even start the next sign, and that Knight of Pentacles wanted to pop out like a couple of times. So interesting. I kind of feel this like hesitation energy. So I'd say, and here you go. It's like something needs to be finished here, Scorpio, and I don't know. I feel like something needs to be finished. It's crazy to me because, damn, Scorpio, this is a good reading. Sorry, I should switch it to here. This is very good, but I think all three water signs had something very similar about something kind of needing to come to a conclusion or an ending, and that's what I see going on here. Yeah, see, and you have the Judgment card, which is waking up to a new beginning. This looks very good. Damn. Scorpio, are you kidding me? This is a good reading, I'm telling you right now. I love this. Definitely a lot of good stuff. I'm using the Wheel of the Year Tarot, by the way, if you're wondering what deck this is. You have this Unfinished Symphony card, and it seems to me like all three of you water signs are closing out a cycle here. Or you're just, kind of closing something out. Something open-ended is what this looks like to me. So it's like there is no... I think something needs to go one way or the other. It's like some decisions need to be made here, Scorpio. It's like if this is a relationship, the relationship needs to happen, or somebody needs to walk away. I get this very much a very kind of like cut and dry type of choppy energy going on here where a decision needs to be made. And that's what I feel like this is talking about. Wrong one. You have the Seven of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Six of Cups. A lot of thinking in this situation with the Six of Cups. So if this is a love situation, I see a lot of thinking, a lot of reminiscing. I feel there's a lot of concerns as well. It's like someone is reaching for peace are the words that are popping into my head with that concern card. We'll talk about that in a second. But I feel for some of you, something needs to happen. I get a very, again, choppy energy where someone needs to make a decision. Someone sees all the happiness that exists, but it's like they're not moving towards it. If this is not love for you, this is a commitment to something else. This is a commitment to a business or a decision, again. And the decision could be that maybe you have two businesses, but maybe you really are discovering that you only have time for one business. And it's like, which one do I commit to? The secret is, it really doesn't matter. That's a secret here, Scorpio. I feel like the secret is, it's whatever your heart belongs to. So maybe you need to sit with yourself for some time and just say, like, what does my heart belong to? Does my heart belong to this business or that business? Does my heart belong to this job or that job? And once you make that decision, boom, it's like you're off to the races. Knight of Wands, things moving quickly, right? So I think to get things moving forward here, you have to make a choice and commit to one thing with the Four of Wands. I think it's interesting as well that on the traditional Four of Wands, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. I'm trying not to. On the traditional Four of Wands, there's like the people celebrating on the other side of the Four of Wands, and you are on this side of the Four of Wands. You just need to cross through the threshold, but again, it's like crossing through that threshold means that you're leaving something behind. That's the whole point of the Four of Wands. And some people say, well, it's a card of accomplishment. It's like, yeah, once you've accomplished something, then you're moving on from it, right? Even if you're taking it to the next level, you're still moving on from the way things were. So the Four of Wands is always a transition because something is always changing when you're going through the Four of Wands, right? Next, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but I don't really feel that for you. And again, to me, the Seven of Swords is a card of tactics. It's a card of doing things differently. Even on a traditional Seven of Swords, it's a good card, no matter what anyone says. It's normally a golden card, right? Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. And it can be a card of a trickster, but really, he's stealing swords normally from an army in the background. It just represents doing things differently. And so I feel that for some of you, where it's like if you're trying to be successful and you're not successful at something, you just need to do things differently and you'll be more successful. I do feel a lot of concern here. And I got the words reaching for peace. Those were the words that were popping into my head with this concern card. I don't take it how it resonates is what I'll say here, Scorpio, but I feel like someone is reaching for peace in a situation. For some of you, I also feel that should be, sometimes I think I get messages that are meant to just be something that you think about, right? That you just kind of take in the information and just think about it. And so I feel that maybe you're in a situation that does not provide you with peace. Right? You could be in a relationship where you don't feel at peace. You could be in a business or a job where you don't feel peace. And this is something you need to think about. And again, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't think tarot should tell you what to do. I think it's just, loose advice at best, as I always say. But what I would say here is I feel there's a situation where you're trying to make a decision, you're concerned about making the right decision. It's actually very simple. I think this is saying one thing provides you with peace, the other thing does not. It's just that simple. I also feel like you need to make sure that you are receiving peace here, especially if you're entering into a new situation with the Fool. You have the Fool, the Eight of Cups, and the Judgment card. The Eight of Cups, I feel, is saying walk away from situations that no longer serve you. I feel it's hard for people to say things in relationships that they're uncomfortable with, right? It's like I feel people are on both sides are not honest enough about the things that make them uncomfortable. It's like if you are, let's say your partner has a friend that you are uncomfortable with them being friends with, if we hold that in, then we're not being honest with them, with ourselves, and all this other stuff. So I always tell people, I think that we need to stop getting into relationships where we think I'm uncomfortable with this friend, with who they're being friends with, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want them to feel like I'm controlling them. I think there's a nice way that we can do this. We can tell our partner, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this friend. This is why. And if they choose to keep spending time with that friend, then maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's a sign you should leave. And again, you can leave out of love, out of peace. You don't have to be mean or aggressive and, vice versa, right? About this. But again, I feel like people are either getting to this point or people need to get to this point where we're kind of more open about things that we are willing to tolerate and boundaries that we don't want crossed. The problem is, I think for especially as spiritual people, right? It's like we get into a relationship, person they take it, once you give an inch, they take a mile, as they say, right? And so I feel you need to be careful that you in particular, Scorpio, where it's if there's something you don't like, speak up about it. And again, the whole point about speaking up about it, I think we need to speak up about these things early in relationships. I think the problems show up when we speak about them late. Too late in the relationship, then we piss the person off or whatever, right? I feel if we speak up about these things, maybe a person plays too many video games, maybe you don't like it, right? And then maybe they tell you, hey, too bad, get lost. And at least you ended it early instead of getting hurt a year down the line, right? So I feel like we need to be better at, hiring and firing, as they say here, Scorpio. You have the Fool. The Fool, I feel, is saying it's time to take a leap of faith, actually. Definitely some sort of risk. This risk is to probably go on a new adventure with the Knight of Wands coming up next. And I feel this adventure, there is an element of trust. You have this trust card here. Who are you trusting? Yourself. I feel like this reading is asking you to trust yourself on this new adventure that you could be going on. You have the Judgment card again. I feel like you're being called to this new adventure. So if you're going on a new adventure, there's some sort of calling that is happening here where you're feeling like you should be being reborn. The Judgment card, the people are standing in their coffins on the traditional Judgment card, and they're being called into a new life. So again, they have to make some sort of sacrifice, or they have to let go of their old life. The whole entire reading is basically talking about this Four of Wands, needing to go through that portal, needing to sacrifice what is already dead, done, over with, or complete, right? And that's kind of how I'm seeing things here. Again, you have the Trust card. This, I feel, is saying, trust yourself. I don't think it's talking about a person or anything. I feel like it's saying that you know what to do on a new adventure. You have the Knight of Wands. You have the Four of Swords and the Ten of Cups. This Knight of Wands is the decision. This whole entire reading is about really making a choice. And I feel like it's saying, move towards the choice that brings you more peace. And again, I feel like sometimes we get stuck to situations that don't bring us peace, especially if we haven't had a relationship in a long time. I feel we can be in a relationship that doesn't bring us peace, but we're not willing to be alone. But there's actually, the way to look at it is there's actually a lot of peace in being alone. There's no one there to bother you. There's no one there to do weird stuff like, clip their toenails in bed. And then you're sleeping and you get, someone's big toenail jamming into your leg, right? So it's there's a lot of peace in being alone. And I'm not saying this reading is saying be alone, but I'm just saying it's saying what will bring you more peace into your life. And I feel like you need to go on that journey. You're definitely on some sort of adventure. I feel like you've been in hibernation. You have this Four of Swords here. There's a groundhog on this card here. And I feel you've been in hibernation. I feel like you're waking up to spring. I feel like you're getting ready to, step into that spring energy. Spring energy is kind of like the Empress, right? And you don't have the Empress here yet. You might, but I feel that Empress energy. You have the Ten of Cups. Fortune after difficulty, happiness, pretty much everything you want in life. You know, this is a happy home, happy family card. So I feel like this is what you're moving towards. And look at this outcome here, Scorpio. Damn. I love this. You have this wealth card and you have this throne card. It says position of authority. It's like you're about to become, you know, a king, or, you know, embrace that kingly energy. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. I'm referring to the archetypal energy. I'm not referring to the gender of being a king. So I feel for some of you, it's like you're embracing that kingly authority, leadership energy. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. You have the Death card. I just believe that this is you showing up in the reading. The Knight of Cups and the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups, I feel like, is those moments, you know, where it's like if you're walking away from a person, I feel even sometimes if we know that's the right thing to do, we can still have those moments where it's like maybe for like a second we miss them, right? Or maybe for a little bit of time we kind of are like, am I making the right decision, right? We've all been there where we break up with a person or we leave a person, we're like, wait, am I doing the right thing? I think that's natural. I think if you look at these situations where you maybe feel sad one day, or maybe you have moments where you feel sad. I feel like if you look at those moments, they're really just expectations. You know, they're really just things where maybe you came up with these plans, like you were going to get married and go to Hawaii. Maybe you see Hawaii on TV and you're like, I miss that person. But really, you just miss the idea of, you know, kind of going to Hawaii or whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's what's going on here. Five of Cups says, really, you have a lot more to gain with the Five of Cups, and that's the whole point of the card. You have the Knight of Cups, Knight in Shining Armor. Definitely could be new love coming in for you if you're looking for it. I do feel it could be a water sign. It doesn't have to be. It could be any sign, but I do feel water heavily here. The Knight of Cups to me is also your dream life. Obviously, wealth, the throne. Are you kidding me? And then you showing up here in a very strong position, Scorpio. So pretty straightforward reading. I would say let's see what is going on for you here, Scorpio. With the Seven of Swords, you have the High Priestess. Trust your intuition at this time for sure. It's kind of one of those things. Sometimes I feel with the Seven of Swords and the High Priestess, especially when they come up together, it's like High Priestess is the mystery, but she's extremely intuitive. She sees the beginning, middle, and end of all situations. She knows exactly how something is going to go. Seven of Swords could be like trickster energy, or like lying, cheating, stealing, or it could also just be that maybe you feel like you tricked yourself into a situation where you knew how it was going to end in the first place, right? And so it's like maybe maybe you started dating a person and maybe you knew how it was going to end. Maybe you're like, this is going to end this way. And it did. And I feel like you're like, damn it, like, why am I always right? I get that feeling here. But at the same time, it's like, I've totally, I've been there, you know, as far as relationships are concerned. And I've kind of come to this conclusion that I rather just live my life having experiences, right? It's like, I rather just say, it's like, maybe I know how certain things are going to go. Maybe I know before it happens how things are going to end, but I just try to look at everything as an experience. I'm like, you know what? I know that this is probably going to end this way. I know this person might break up with me and all this other stuff, but it's like, can I just enjoy it for what it is? And I don't know, some of you might be getting there, right? Doing that. With the Four Wands, Nine of Cups, this is a wish. Again, everything on the other side of the Four Wands is a wish. So it's like, if you feel like you're leaving something behind, you're not. You're like upgrading. You're moving towards freedom. And clearly wish fulfillment as well here, Scorpio. Very important stuff. With the Six of Cups, here you go. Two of Swords. Again, same thing. She is sitting where she has always been. This is something new right here, this island behind her. She just needs to see that she could easily walk out to this island. The water is at low tide. You see these rocks in the water. If she took her blindfold off, she could see those rocks and she could avoid them and she wouldn't get injured on the rocks. So again, with the Six of Cups here, it's like you could be reminiscing, thinking about a past situation, staying stuck in a past situation when what's available to you or what's coming in is like a new adventure, a bright new adventure. With the Fool, you have the Star, like a wish fulfillment, again, happiness, joy, healing, energy. So clearly taking a leap of faith towards something new is going to be very healing and lead to a lot of happiness. And with the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Again, like I said, I'm not going to lie. If you're walking away from something, you're fearing. I feel like you are concerned about making the right decision. Number one, sorry, my camera might have just turned off there. I feel you could be concerned about making the wrong decision. And I also feel I've said this a million times in the past. We can be, three of swords can come up in a reading. It's like we can be the one who broke up with someone. We can be sad about it, but we also know maybe that's the right thing to do. It's like, it's not necessarily like, oh, three of swords, you're heartbroken, whatever. I really feel this is you making a decision to walk away from something. And it doesn't have to be love either with the 8 of Cups and the 3 of Swords. It could be, 8 of Cups, 3 of Swords. You're moving towards your 10 of Cups. You're moving towards true happiness. So it's like whatever the sacrifice is, I feel is, it could be momentarily sad, but long term better. With the Judgment card, you have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, plain and simple, asks us to be curious. Page of Swords is a card of curiosity and just says like, with the Judgment card, if you're feeling guided to make a change, Page of Swords says, what if? Page of Swords just says, can you ask that question? What if I move in this direction? What if I, move towards this new person? What if I leave this person that I know isn't right for me and have a new beginning? What if? What would happen, right? It's about asking questions, with the Page of Swords. So that's what I would do. With the Knight of Wands, Fool, we already know this, that the Knight of Wands is asking you to go on the adventure. Knight of Wands can sometimes be a risk. It's also very spontaneous, just like the Fool. The Fool sometimes is about being spontaneous. It's like you could be feeling like leaving one business, going to another, and you could be saying to yourself like, what is going to be on the other side? But the Fool kind of just says you have to explore. Knight of Wands also says you have to explore. Knight of Wands is a mystery. Normally there's 3 pyramids on the Knight of Wands. And it's kind of like, you have to figure it out, right? Is what I'm trying to spit out here. With the 4 of Swords, what did I say? I said hibernation. The Hangman is kind of like a card of hibernation. He chooses to put himself in Hangman mode. And that's where I feel like you have been. I feel like you've been in limbo. You've been kind of like saying, like you've been kind of waiting for something to happen. You've been waiting for enlightenment. His head is glowing. He's gained enlightenment. So I feel like it's time for action. With the 10 of Cups, you have the 9 of Swords. Fear. I feel this is the fear that you're walking away from something that could be your 10 of Cups, which I don't think is true, clearly, because you're stepping into this kingly energy. That's the best way I could describe it. So I would let go of those fears. With the Death card, Ace of Wands. There you go. In death, there is life. Ace of Wands is literally the spark of life, right? So I feel for a lot of you, you're moving towards this very passionate new beginning. You're moving towards something that's just amazing. I feel like you're moving towards something that's growing. There's also this castle here, and a lot of people have been getting this card lately. That castle is crumbling, and it's meant to represent like kind of like in with the new, out with the old type of energy. So I feel like you're moving towards a new beginning. With the Knight of Cups, you have the 3 of Wands. What are you waiting for? It's time to live your dream. Knight of Cups could be your dream. 3 of Wands is just like, what are you waiting for? You can have all these things that you want right now, but it's like, why not, move towards it? Why not get it going now? So I feel like for some of you, there's no time like the present here, Scorpio. And with the 5 of Cups, you have the 6 of Swords. Again, I feel like you're moving on from any sadness that you could be feeling. 6 of Swords, like moving on to calmer shores. So pretty simple reading, even though I made it very complex, right? As always, making things hard. But what I would say here is that I feel like you're moving towards a very passionate new beginning, something much better, but you're like letting something go. And I think the best thing to think about here would be that 4 of Wands, like thinking you're not really letting something go. You're just like going to the next stage. You're, crossing a finish line. And you're just ready for the next thing. Pretty interesting. So thank you for being here, Scorpio. Really appreciate it. It looks amazing. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.